We're nearing the end of Georgia's 2025 session with 3 more legislative days in the books after this week. Now lawmakers only have 3 more on the calendar until Sine Die and the end of the session this coming Friday, April the 4th. Here's a recap of what happened at the Capitol this week. The Senate advanced their version of the $37.7 billion state budget on Friday. Among the notable changes to the House's version, the Senate supported Governor Kemp's request to fully fund the Georgia Promise Scholarship Program at $141 million. The House version originally funded the program at only $45 million. The second major piece of tort reform legislation passed the House this week, Senate Bill 69, sponsored by Senator John F. Kennedy, will regulate third-party litigation funding with the hope of limiting outside influence on trials and predatory lending practices. Legislation that deals with the ability of local governments to opt out of the floating homestead exemption, which was approved by voters last fall, is on its way to the governor after the House agreed with the Senate's changes. The bill allows governments to opt back in and allows refunds of local sales taxes paid on construction materials for school capital projects, but only in districts with homestead exemptions in place. House Bill 92 is sponsored by Representative Shaw Blackman. House Bill 880, also sponsored by Representative Blackman, would establish a taxpayers' relief fund, which is used to supplement revenue to gradually reduce income tax rates and other forms of tax relief. The bill would also decrease the lowest rate possible for individual and corporate income taxes from 4.99% to 3.99%. The House adopted legislation that will create new criminal offenses for fraudulent election interference and the solicitation of such offenses, particularly involving the use of AI-generated deceptive media. The bill also requires clear disclaimers on campaign ads using AI. Senate Bill 9, the Ensuring Accountability for Illegal AI Activities Act, is sponsored by Senator John Albers. The House Education Committee advanced legislation intended to encourage and incentivize local boards of education to approve new charter schools. Senate Bill 82, known as the Local Charter School Authorization and Support Act of 2025, is sponsored by Senator Clint Dixon. And finally, a couple of bills passed this week that could directly affect Georgia classrooms. The House passed Senate Bill 123, sponsored by Senator Kennedy, which amends state law to ensure that no student is expelled solely due to absenteeism and to address chronic absenteeism in Georgia schools. And the Senate passed House Bill 340, known as the Distraction-Free Education Act, sponsored by Representative Scott Hilton. This would prohibit the use of cell phones by students through the 8th grade. The legislature will return on Monday for Legislative Day 38. For more updates from the Capitol in this legislative session, please be sure to subscribe to our weekly Friday Facts email.